Addiction is often misunderstood. We think of it as a weakness, a moral failure, or a chemical trap. But Carl Jung saw it differently. He believed addiction is not merely a disease of the body, it's a disease of the soul. It's what happens when the inner world is starving, and we try to feed it with something outside of us. Jung wrote, "Every form of addiction is bad, no matter whether the narcotic be alcohol, morphine, or idealism." He wasn't condemning addicts. He was saying that addiction is a symbol, a sign of a deeper hunger for meaning, connection, and wholeness. Addiction isn't only about drugs or alcohol. It can be the phone we can't put down, the work we can't stop doing, the relationship we can't let go of. It's anything we use to escape ourselves. Behind every addiction lies a hunger, not for the substance, but for what it represents: relief, peace, connection. The addict isn't seeking destruction, they're seeking wholeness. We live in a world that rewards distraction and numbing, so it's easy to miss what addiction is really telling us. It's not about weakness, it's about emptiness. It's a message from the unconscious whispering, "Something inside you has been forgotten." Healing begins the moment we stop fighting the symptom and start listening to what it's trying to say. Every addiction begins as an attempt to escape pain, a way to soothe something that feels unbearable: loneliness, fear, shame, or emptiness. At first it works. For a moment the noise fades, the anxiety quiets, the world feels easier to bear. But soon the comfort becomes a cage. What once brought relief begins to control us. We chase the same feeling again and again, even though it never lasts. Carl Jung believed that at the core of addiction lies a spiritual hunger, a longing for meaning that we try to satisfy with temporary pleasure. He suggested that what addicts truly seek is not the drug itself, but the feeling of connection that it imitates. The drink becomes a substitute for peace. The obsession becomes a stand-in for purpose. The scrolling, the shopping, the fantasy, all of them fill the silence that we no longer know how to sit with. Addiction, Jung said, is the soul's misguided attempt to heal itself. It's not the enemy. It's a messenger, pointing us toward the deeper wounds we haven't yet faced. Healing begins when we have the courage to ask, not "How do I stop?" but "What am I running from?" Carl Jung taught that every human being carries a shadow, the hidden part of the psyche where we store everything we reject about ourselves: our fears, our shame, our anger, our unmet needs, all the pieces we were taught not to show the world. Addiction often begins as an attempt to silence this shadow. When we can't face what hurts, we numb it. We drink to escape our sadness. We overwork to escape our inadequacy. We seek love and validation to escape our loneliness. But what we refuse to face doesn't disappear. It waits. The more we suppress the shadow, the stronger it becomes, and the louder it calls for our attention through compulsions and cravings. Jung believed that addiction is, in essence, the shadow's cry for integration, a desperate attempt by the unconscious to be seen, felt, and healed. When we chase the next high or distraction, we're really trying to avoid meeting ourselves. True healing doesn't come from rejecting the shadow, but from embracing it, from looking directly at what we've been running from and saying, "I'm ready to understand you." Because the parts of ourselves we fear the most often hold the keys to our wholeness. For Jung, addiction was never just about pleasure. It was about spiritual longing. He believed that behind every craving lies the same question: where have I lost my connection to life? Jung once said to a patient struggling with alcoholism, "You are seeking the spirit, but in the wrong form." The addict's desire isn't evil, it's misplaced. The bottle, the drug, the screen, the relationship, all of them are symbols of something deeper we've lost. We crave intensity because life feels dull. We seek escape because the present feels unbearable. We reach outward because we've forgotten how to reach inward. The addict's tragedy, Jung said, is that they're searching for God, for meaning, wholeness, transcendence, but they try to find it through temporary relief. The truth is, what we're really looking for is not intoxication, but connection. Not euphoria, but peace. Addiction is a spiritual thirst disguised as desire, and the first step toward healing is to stop condemning that desire, to recognize that beneath it lies something sacred, the longing to feel whole again. Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video. Your support helps more people discover these ideas. And if you're enjoying this journey into the mysteries of the mind, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Now, back to the video. Carl Jung believed that within every person who suffers lies a healer waiting to awaken. He called this the archetype of the wounded healer, the idea that our wounds, once faced consciously, can become a source of wisdom and compassion. Addiction, when brought into awareness, can transform in the same way. The pain that once destroyed you can become your teacher. The darkness that once consumed you can become your guide. When we begin to heal, we don't erase the past. We integrate it. We understand that what once felt like weakness was actually a message, that the moments of despair were pointing us toward the parts of ourselves that needed love the most. An addict who faces their inner pain and learns from it doesn't return to who they were before. They become someone deeper, more awake, more human. They know suffering, so they recognize it in others. They've known emptiness, so they value connection. They've touched despair, so they understand hope. The wound, Jung said, is where the light enters. And in that sense, the addict who heals becomes not a victim of their past, but a bearer of light, proof that transformation is possible. Jung often described the process of healing as alchemy, the transformation of something dark and heavy into something pure and valuable. In ancient alchemy, the goal was to turn lead into gold. In Jung's psychology, the goal was to turn suffering into consciousness. Addiction, in this sense, is not something to destroy, but something to transform. The energy that once fueled the craving can become the very force that drives awakening. Healing begins with awareness, the moment we can look at our pattern without judgment or denial. Then comes acceptance, realizing that the addiction once tried to protect us, to numb pain we didn't yet know how to face. And finally comes transformation, finding new, conscious ways to meet the same needs that the addiction tried to fill. Jung believed that this transformation happens when we bring light to the unconscious, when we make what was hidden visible, and meet what was feared with compassion instead of shame. It's not about fighting the darkness, it's about integrating it. Because what we integrate no longer controls us. The alchemy of healing is slow, subtle, and deeply human. It's the art of turning pain into understanding and addiction into self-awareness. For Jung, true healing comes when we reconnect with the self, the deeper, wiser part of our psyche that holds balance, meaning, and unity. Addiction pulls us away from this center. It convinces us that what we need is somewhere outside, in a substance, a person, or a feeling. But the longer we chase it, the further we drift from who we really are. Healing is the journey back inward. It's remembering that the peace we've been searching for was never in the drug, the distraction, or the escape. It was always within us, waiting to be felt. Jung wrote, "You do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." That's what recovery truly is. Not perfection, but awareness. Not running from the darkness, but learning to walk through it. When we begin to listen to what our pain is saying, instead of trying to silence it, the craving slowly loses its power. The soul begins to remember its wholeness. This is not an easy path. It's a slow return, a quiet reuniting with the parts of yourself you once abandoned. But each moment of honesty, each breath of compassion is a step home. The goal is not to become someone new. It's to become yourself, completely, to live as a whole, conscious being, no longer ruled by what once enslaved you. Addiction is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of a journey, a painful, honest, and sacred journey back to the self. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are human, searching for meaning, for peace, for connection. And the very fact that you're searching means something in you still believes in healing. Carl Jung taught that every symptom is a message from the soul. So when you feel the pull of addiction, don't only ask, "How do I stop?" Ask instead, "What is this trying to teach me?" The moment you stop running from your pain and begin listening to it, you are already healing. So if this message spoke to you, please like and subscribe for more reflections on Carl Jung and psychology. Share it with someone who might need to hear it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.